Our second project is a washcloth. For our washcloth, we'll need yarn, scissors, a stitch marker, a crochet hook, and a yarn needle. We'll start this project again with the slip knot, and we'll chain 25. Once you have your chain of 25, you'll count 2 stitches away from the crochet hook. So this is 1, that first V, you can see both sides of the V right there, and 2, a second V. In this stitch that we just found, we'll add a single crochet. Slip it through the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through both loops on the hook. We'll do that same single crochet stitch into every chain. Once more, we're inserting into the chain through the V, yarning over, pulling through, yarning over again, pulling through both loops. If your hook falls out and you can't find this loop to put it back through, no worries. Just take out the full stitch, and the other loop will be right there waiting for you to put it back in. Now that we've reached the end of the row, we should have 24 single crochets. You can count them by counting each one of these V's and making sure you have 24. We'll chain 1 and turn our project. Again, our project was facing this way, and we turn it like a book. Right over. And now we can start working down this row of single crochets. To start your second row, we'll be inserting our hook into the first stitch of the first row. So it's not this chain that we just made, that's the turning chain, but the first stitch. We're looking for the 2 lines of the V, a little more pronounced than they were in the chain. Putting the hook underneath both of those, yarning over, pulling through, yarning over, pulling through both. And we'll do that for every stitch down the row. The last stitch in the row can be a little tricky to find. Sometimes this V sort of turns towards the front, but you can still find it by straightening it out, grabbing it by the corner, and finding the first loop and the second loop. You might need the help of your index finger to pull it on. And again, you can count all of the stitches to make sure you still have 24. If you ended up with 25 or 23, be careful because your work could start growing or shrinking. Again, we chain 1, take our project, flip it like a book, and we can start our 3rd row. You'll repeat this until the washcloth is the size that you want. When your washcloth is as long as you want it to be, make the last single crochet in your row. Do 1 final chain to finish it off. Take your scissors, leave a nice long tail for weaving in. Take your hook and pull the yarn through that last chain. Thread the yarn onto your darning needle. With your yarn tail on your yarn needle, you can begin weaving it through the stitches. I like to go through the stitches on the back of the project 3 times so that I'm not worried about my tail coming undone. So if that was 1, I'm pulling through the other way for 2, and once more, coming back the other way for my 3rd pass through. With the tail weaved in, I'll cut that excess yarn close to the project. And now I don't have to worry about my tail coming undone. I'll do the same thing with this tail down here, and then our washcloth will be done. There's not really a specific technique to this step. You just want to put it through any loop that you can find. It's helpful when your tails are the same color as your project, because then it blends in easier. When your tail gets really tiny, a helpful trick I like to use is putting the needle through the yarn first, and then you stick it through the needle, and you can pull it through like that. Trim the tail close to your project, and there you go. You have a little washcloth for your use.